You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeater on Ron Siegel Radio. Welcome back, Sarah Perkins, Blue Water Credit. Good morning.
Good morning, Ron.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Now, let's see what we've got. Pecan Pie Day. Having beaten anorexia. Yeah, I like the idea of pecan pie. Got a little whipped cream. We need some whipped cream on top of that, Josh. I mean, if we're going to go on this, we got to go all in. Pecan pie. Aren't you supposed to have that at the holiday time? Do you have that in the middle of summer? I don't know. Although I did just get a delivery, I guess it was a special delivery. Apple pecan pie with caramel on top. Ugh. Came right out of Julian, so it was fresh. It was good. Now, I don't know. Are we going to still celebrate this one, Josh? I don't know, because there was a little bit of a problem here. Because if you're old like me, what do you correlate Jell-O with? Right? Because today's Eat Your Jell-O Day. Am I the only one that says, you can't have Jell-O without thinking about Bill Cosby? I'm just going to throw that out there. So I don't know if we better be careful of that one. But today is Eat Your Jell-O Day. And being that I wasn't here yesterday, I will admit that I did go. Well, I told people about going to get Slurpees, 7-Eleven Day. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing today. They're coming back. What's going on here? So we're looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 138 points. S&P 500 is up 24. The NASDAQ is up 85. Oil up $1.09 a barrel, $1.09. Well, okay, so now we're at $75.91 a barrel. I guess that means so much for our wonderful gas prices here in California. $4.89 a gallon of gasoline. Ow! Painful. Especially we can go over and visit Josh and pay $4.23 over there. Or drop down a little further and go see Jody at $3.76. Or, I was going to say go visit Lori, our tremendous underwriter. But even Lori says nobody goes to Louisiana. So it's $3.10 a gallon of gasoline out there in Louisiana. $3.10, and we're paying $4.89 here in California, the formerly Golden State. Hey, maybe we can get some more taxes. Maybe we can get some more fees. I guess that's what we like here. It's even cheaper to get gasoline in Hawaii at $4.70 a gallon. I think the only place in the country that's higher than us in California, the state of Washington, $4.95 a gallon. What's driving this market? What's going on? Well, we're going to talk about it in the Mortgage Minute a little later, but we did have a pretty good report came on consumer prices. Are you feeling any better? I know the Biden economy is helping everybody. Just ask him. I'm not sure who it's helping except maybe Hunter, but that's a different subject. We're not going to go there. Isn't it amazing how the January 6th events, because I'm not going to call it any of the crap that they call it in the media, because Nancy Pelosi had forewarning and could have solved the whole problem, but she was probably asleep. But the bottom line here is they can't figure out who brought the cocaine to the White House, but they've been able to try and round up all the people from January 6th. Does that make sense to anybody? And, the binder herself, Corinne Jean-Pierre, right? She's already told us 4 different places they found this gram of cocaine. Now, was there 4 grams, or is she just moving it every time she talks? I don't understand this stuff, but, it is what it is. I mean, what else are we going to do?
It is what it is.
But it is driving the markets, this lovely Biden economy that we're now paying, probably 3 times the gas prices we had when he took office. But he's going to tell us how great gas is doing since the high. Oh, yeah. Well, we can't say high when Hunter's around, so let's not use that line. But let's just look at this. A year ago, gas prices in California were $6.05 a gallon. $6.05. So at $4.89, are you feeling good? Well, probably, because we'll probably vote for the same idiots that we voted for before. Chicken Schiff, he's going to become a senator from California. He's got to be the best liar, or the most active liar in the entire world. So, well, maybe next to Hunter. But that's a whole different thing. But they're telling us how good things are. Are you feeling it? Interest is double where it was. Now, maybe we'll finally start seeing interest rates come down with the inflation numbers that are improving. Hopefully that will be the case. We're going to watch that for you. But I'm going to post probably later today or tomorrow. We're actually going to post on socials a segment that we did on Monday, because I've had a lot of commentary on this. And I was at an event yesterday. I was a keynote at an event yesterday. And we're talking about how the 3% mortgage is killing you. And I had a CPA come up to me following the event saying, why isn't anybody else talking about these things? Why isn't anybody else talking about how you can get totally out of debt, buy a new house, buy a bigger house, and save money, even if you have a 3% mortgage now and go to a 7% mortgage? So watch our social channels. If you're not following us, Ron Siegel Radio on Facebook. You can go at Ron Siegel on Instagram, on Twitter, Ron Siegel Radio, or Ron Siegel 1, the numeral 1 on YouTube. All those places. You can find all these things we share. Not the least of which, how do you get out of student loan debt? No. The president's not going to wipe it away. He tried that already and found he didn't have the authority for it. But there are 11 programs out there to help get rid of your student loan debt. Do not go to SoFi or any of these other private lenders. They will only stiff you. Just my opinion. They're doing their job. They're out there trying to get you to convert your federal debt into private debt, but then there's no programs to help save you thereafter. So we've got 11 different programs. RSRstudentloanhelp.com, RSRstudentloanhelp.com will show you how to do that. There's a calculator right there. In about 30 seconds, you can find out how much you're going to save just by using the service. And there might be opportunities for you to get the retainer back in full from your friends at Ron Siegel Radio. Just share that with you. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, renting or selling your house, what's the best move? Why credit repair is important? We'll talk about that one. And we'll see, can credit repair companies remove collections? All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates. We do not know the APR, points paid, points received. We know the locked rates. That's what they tell us. It's with consumers across 42% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. The conforming 30-year loan, 6.985. Jumbo loan, 7.124. FHA loan was up a bit, 6.867. USDA for the rural areas, generally no down payment, 6.849. And the best loan on the market for those that earned it, 6.71. Don't forget, if you want my market commentary every morning delivered right to your inbox, go to rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com. And we publish that every morning. We try and get it done before I go on air, rsrmarketminute.com. Let's take a look and see what's going on today in the markets. Well, the 10-year Treasury down 12 basis points. Nice. S&P 500 is up 28. Mortgage-backed securities are up 67 basis points. That is what we like to see, because when the bond goes up, We know that the price of the rate interest rate is going down. What's driving it? Well, Consumer Price Index, June Consumer Price Index reports showed that overall inflation increased by 0.2%, which was lower than estimates of 0.3%. Year over year, inflation declined from 4.4% to 3%, lower than the 3.1% expected. Inflation has declined sharply from the 9.1% peak and continues to make progress every month since that peak. The main focus is the core rate, which strips out food and energy. Those, many of us just don't need food or energy, so they take that out of there. It increased by 0.2%, which was also 1/10 lighter than estimates. Year over year, core CPI decreased from 5.3 to 4.8, which was also lighter than estimates of 5%. Shelter costs rose by 0.4% in June and rose by 7.8% year over year, which is down slightly from 8% in the previous report. Rent rose 0.5% last month and are up 8.3% year over year, down from 8.7% the previous report. Owner's equivalent rent, which tries to capture the increase in home ownership costs, rose 0.4% and is up 7.8% year over year, down from 8%. The volatile lodging away from home figure also helped, dropping 2%. Used cars fell 0.5% after rising 4.4% for 2 consecutive months. There should be more declines in this sector ahead, which will help inflation. New cars were flat for the month. Motor vehicle insurance rose 1.3% last month and is up almost 17% year over year. Ooh. Energy prices rose 0.6% after falling 3.6% in the previous report. Food prices were flat, increasing 0.1%. Airline fares dropped 8.1%. A lot going on right there. And one of the big numbers, now tomorrow we're going to get the producer price index. That's a big report. But the one that I want to make sure that you're aware of is a big report that came out yesterday. And I am sure that you're not going to hear this from too many sources, especially Diana Olick, who comes out next time she gets something right on housing. It will be the first time.
Such an idiot.
Yeah.
Idiot.
So we hear about home prices dropping, and they're using median price numbers. Remember, median price is good for absolutely nothing. So yesterday, we got the home price appreciation. These are legitimate homes, not the mix of properties selling. So CoreLogic came out and said in May, home prices were up 0.9%. Black Knight said 0.7%. So if you hear somebody saying, well, home prices are declining, ask them where they're getting their data. What are they using for that information? It's probably something that's a little bit outdated. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. Even if you're worried about selling your house because you don't have anywhere to move, we've got a transition loan. So if you've got equity in your departing property, maybe you can buy the new house with no money down. Transition loan. Give a call to our friends at Geneva. They've got that one for you. Hey, let's go and chat. One of our most favored topics on Ron Siegel Radio is credit repair. And many of you hear me talking about creditsanitizer.com. Well, it's because it's an easy URL that I understand. And where does it take you? To Blue Water Credit. It's our friends at Blue Water Credit. We've been working with them for a lot of years. And Sarah Perkins is with us today, helping to educate us. We don't have any specific advice for you other than go to creditsanitizer.com, get registered, and that'll take you right over to Blue Water Credit's site. But the bottom line is if you want to learn about credit, Sarah Perkins, welcome.
Hello. Good morning, Ron.
Glad to have you with us. So let's talk about credit repair. And I want to get one of the dumb fallacies out of the way. You know, these folks that go on and talk about the idea of just dispute everything and say it's not mine. Is that really the right way of doing things?
No, I mean, obviously it sounds super simple. Just go on Credit Karma, file a dispute, say it's not mine, the balance is wrong. And I would say most of the time you're not going to get those kind of items deleted unless it actually is in fact wrong.
So how do you get where you're going? And I know that there's all, decades worth of experience, but I tell people, if you go to the bureaus or if you go to Credit Karma, don't ever hit that dumb dispute button, because it's kind of like trying to use Twitter to correct your report. Am I missing something there?
No, you're absolutely right. There is a method in the way that you need to dispute these accounts to actually have results where they are going to get removed or updated into a positive status. So when you start doing those things on your own, you're probably going to end up causing more damage than good.
That's worth the weight in gold right there. You cause more damage just by using these sites that they're made for the bureaus to. Well, I'm going to throw my opinion in here. I don't want to cloud it as being Sarah's, but the bureau's idea is to keep your scores low. The lower your scores are, the more they can sell your data for, because that's all they really want to do is sell your data anyway. I mean, we fight Apple, we fight Facebook, we fight all these sites for selling data. Yet, you've got these bureaus that are selling your data. But at least if they sell the data, you want to have it correct. Am I right there, Sarah?
Yeah, you definitely want to have it correct.
So what are you looking at? I mean, what is it when somebody does an audit with Blue Water Credit? What's my experience going to be like there?
So what you're going to get is an experienced case manager that's going to take a look at all three bureaus. They're looking for inaccurate information, incomplete information, and erroneous information. So they have an eye for those type of items in the way that they're reported on the bureau that maybe the normal consumer might not necessarily see. And we know with the bureaus that they cannot delete information unless it is deemed inaccurate, incomplete, or erroneous. And they know the behaviors of different creditors and the way that they report items. And so we just have a leg up in the way that things are reported and the right way to dispute them.
So it's kind of like the same idea as, I use the same analogy all the time. I'm old, so I don't remember too many of them. That, I need 2 knee replacements. I could probably go online and find out how to do that myself. I probably won't have a good result. And it's kind of the same thing with what you're talking about. When you go through these things, what you're doing really isn't rocket science. It's your experience that is the rocket science. Is that kind of a good analogy?
I think that's a great analogy. Yeah, we just have the education, we have the experience, we know the trends going on with the credit bureau. So we just have more tools in our pocket and know more about how to get those accounts successfully removed from your credit that are damaging your score.
Well, I like that. That's something new I hadn't heard before, with the trends that are going on. What does that mean?
So just different ways that things are being reported or changes in the way that things can be reported, like with medical collections. That was a big one this year where paid medical collections should be automatically removed. And now they just changed it to now where if it's $500 or less, those items are supposed to be removed. And maybe if you don't stay up on the news and know that those things are not supposed to be on there, we know how to dispute those things because of those changes that have been enacted.
How long does something like that take to get those items off of a report?
It really depends. We have tools that can remove items as quickly as same day. Otherwise, it can take sometimes up to 35 days. So when we send a dispute to the credit bureaus, they are allotted an amount of time to respond to the disputes that we send. Sometimes they're quicker, and sometimes they use up the whole 35 days that they're allotted to make a response to our disputes. And then from there, if it's not removed, then we look at the reason why they didn't remove it, and then make a new game plan on how to dispute it to hopefully get it removed on the second round of disputes and so on.
Interesting. When we come back, I want to talk to you a little bit about goals. What are the goals of what we're trying to achieve, and how might we be able to get there? Somebody that might be at a 678 FICO score who needs to get to a 680 to save money. We're going to talk about if there's some opportunity there that you can share with someone on something along those lines. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, renting or selling your house, what's the best move? All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you could retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Great app. Lets you monitor your credit, monitor your bank accounts, asset accounts. The value of your property is going to give you 4 different valuations. 3 of them are really good. Plus, we give you Zillow because you're going to look there anyway. And then we've also about 97% of the properties available for sale in the United States, all listed right there, rsrmoney.com, free to you from your friends at Ron Siegel Radio. Renting or selling your house, what's the best move? If you're a homeowner ready to make a move, you may be thinking about using your current house as a short-term rental property instead of selling it. A short-term rental is typically offered as an alternative to a hotel, and they're an investment that's gained popularity in recent years. While a short-term rental can be a tempting idea, you may find the reality of being responsible for one difficult to take on. Here are some of the challenges you could face if you rent out your house instead of selling it. Short-term rental comes with responsibilities. Successfully managing your house as a short-term rental takes a lot of time and effort. You'll have to juggle tasks like dealing with reservations, organizing check-ins, tackling cleaning, landscape, maintenance duties. Any one of those can feel demanding, but altogether it's a lot to handle. Short-term rentals experience high turnover rates as new guests check in and out frequently. The home traffic can lead to increased wear and tear on your property, meaning you may need to make more frequent repairs or replace your furniture, fixtures, and appliances more often. Think through your ability to make that level of commitment, especially if you plan to use a platform that advertises your rental listing. Most of them have specific requirements hosts must meet. An article from Bankrate explains, quote, managing a rental property can be time-consuming and challenging. Are you handy and able to make some repairs yourself? If not, do you have a network of affordable contractors you can reach out to in a pinch? Consider whether you want to take on the added responsibility of being a landlord, which means screening tenants and fielding issues, among other responsibilities, or paying for a third party to take care of things instead. There's a lot to consider before taking the leap and converting your house into a short-term rental. If you aren't ready for the work it takes, it could be wise to sell instead. Short-term rental regulations, as the short-term rental industry continues to grow, regulations have increased. Legal restrictions commonly include limits on the number of vacation rentals in a particular location. This is especially true in larger cities and tourist destinations where there may be concerns about overcrowding or housing shortages for permanent residents. Restrictions may also apply to the type of property that can be used for short-term rentals. Many cities also require homeowners to obtain a license or permit before renting out their properties. Nick Del Pego, CEO at Deckard Technology, explains, quote, renting short-term rentals is considered a business by most local governments, and owners must comply with specific workplace regulations and business licensing rules established in the local communities, unquote. Important to thoroughly check whether short-term rentals are regulated or prohibited by the local government and your homeowners association before even considering renting out your home. Bottom line, converting your home into a short-term rental isn't a decision you should make without doing your research to decide if your house is a better alternative or selling is a better alternative. Give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronseegerradio.com. Hey, let's continue our conversation. We've got Sarah Perkins, Blue Water Credit, is with us today, educating us on some of the things that are out there going on in the world of credit repair. And I don't know whether the right term is credit repair. That's the industry term, and that's what people are looking at. But I think it's more of credit correction, more than credit repair, isn't it? Isn't that kind of right?
Yeah,
Sarah?
we refer to it more as credit restoration. So
restoration, okay,
yeah.
Okay, got it. So, you mentioned earlier that some things can take same day up to 35 days to get corrected. Is part of the process or benefit just getting everything corrected on a report, or is it try and meet a specific goal that somebody has or why they're doing this?
Well, we know that a credit score is made up of a whole bunch of different components. The biggest one is payment history or derogatory items. So those are the things that we're going to work on at Blue Water Credit. But we also know the second biggest component has to do with credit utilization. So there's some things that we will advise that our clients while they're in the program of things that they can do to bump up their score while we are working on the items. So there are some things that can be a little bit faster as far as getting your score up.
So then I guess it sounds almost like it's a multifaceted approach.
Yes, absolutely. So while you're working with us, we're educating you on your credit report, your credit history, and what is going to improve your credit profile. So you're getting an overall picture of, what is going on with your credit so we can give you the best possible score in the shortest amount of time.
So I get a lot of people calling and wanting to know, the first thing when we get somebody calling us and they say, well, I've got an 825 score. And then they say 825 FICO. And our question is, okay, where did you find that at? And they come back and they say, well, that's what Credit Karma says.
Yeah.
Is that a FICO score?
No, so with Credit Karma, that's Vantage. So there's two main brands of credit scores out there, which is going to be FICO and Vantage. So FICO is used in probably 90% of lending decisions, and then Vantage is going to be used more educational purpose. So that's what you're getting with Credit Karma. But even within FICO, so you might think you're getting a FICO score from maybe a bank or credit monitoring system, but it might not be the version of score that a lender is going to necessarily look at. So I think within FICO itself, there's like 21 different versions.
Wow. So how do I know what one that I need to really be, pay most attention to?
Well, there's a couple ways. So if you're working with a lender, sometimes they have an ability to do a soft pull, which isn't going to damage your credit by hitting you with an inquiry. But maybe you're not ready to work with a lender and you're just curious as to what your profile looks like. One of the best places to go is going to be myfico.com. There you can get a report, all three bureaus, and they're going to give you a score for all their different versions out there. So the version that we're concerned with in lending for mortgage lending is going to be 5, 4, and 2 based on if it's Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion. So that's a good place to start if you're just wondering what a lender may be looking at if they were to pull your credit.
I love myfico.com. So I pay for that. I don't even know if they still offer it, but I have a family plan. So I actually can monitor what my wife's score is doing and what mine is doing. And kind of probably like what you guys do, Sarah, because you guys see so many reports, but I actually I got the right word, I think, is manipulate my score. So I'll let some of my utilizations go up to see what that does. I'll let some go down. One of the big questions that I get all the time, and it baffles me, and I think I understand it. So when we're talking about lending, the only question that ever comes up is, what's your rate? And I find that because most people don't know any other questions to ask. So they ask, what's your rate? But when it comes to credit repair, credit issues, the vast majority of the people are just saying, well, I don't want to have you run my credit because it's going to hurt my score. Is it going to hurt my score in a material way?
Inquiries is probably one of the smallest determinations of a credit score. I think one inquiry is going to maybe move you 1 to 5 points and a maximum 20 points that it can bring your score down. And there's always the window of what we call rate shopping. So if you're, talking to different lenders, you have a 30-day window to have them pull your credit, and it only count as one inquiry. I mean, if you're on the borderline between two tiers of credit scores, it can be something that might throw you off, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a small percentage of your credit score.
That's, and then there's a lot of people that don't understand that part of it. Now, if I go to MyFICO, is that going to give me an inquiry every time that I look at my score there?
No, so that's considered a soft inquiry. And so anytime you pull your own credit, or maybe you go through a background with an employer, or maybe it's with an established creditor that you already have, and they're just taking a look at your credit to maybe extend a new offer of credit or maybe increase a credit line. Those type of inquiries have no bearing on your score. It's only when you go to actually apply for credit, like a loan, a car, a credit card. Those are the hard inquiries that are going to have an effect on your score.
Okay. So the other one that comes up every once in a while is, I had somebody the other day that we spoke to, and their FICO score was like 640, 650. And, they had no derogatories. They had no credit cards. They had no mortgage. Why would their score be that low if they have, nothing bad going on?
Well, it could be because they have nothing going on. So, with credit, it is somewhat of a game. FICO wants to see open active cards, anywhere from 1 to 5 cards, credit cards open, along with like an installment loan, like a car loan or a student loan, and ideally a mortgage on there. So if you think you're being smart and going all cash and paying everything off and then not using your credit, they don't know if you're a credit risk anymore. So you need to be actively using your credit, but using it in a way that's still responsible, that your score is going to go up. So it might be nearly just the fact that they just aren't utilizing their credit.
Not usually. Okay. So Once again, another plug, which Sarah didn't even know this one, but if you go to rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com, kind of did a video on that one, a show segment talking about some of these. And I want to talk more about the plan that I recommend and see if the expert says that we might be on to something here. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Top mistakes not to make in credit, tips to improve your score fast, and who is a good candidate for credit repair. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments, paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at RonIsMyLender.com. That's RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you could retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Borrow Smart segment today being brought to you by RSRStudentLoanHelp.com, RSRStudentLoanHelp.com. If you have student loans, remember that here's the tip of the day. If your student loans were in default going into the pandemic, they went on a deferral program. As soon as that deferral ends on September 1st, they will start collection efforts again, and it's going to affect your credit score. But there is the Fast Start program. So if you want to get a free consultation, rsrstudentloanhelp.com, rsrstudentloanhelp.com. One of the ones that I find that I love the best story. So I got two stories. One of them was somebody that went to that name that we won't admit to, but that does have on their name the Rams Stadium. I'm not going to say which company it is, but doctor has over $300,000 in student loan debt. They go and they refinance it with that company, whose name I'm not going to mention. $4,500 a month. $4,500 per month is their payment. Had they gone on our website, rsrstudentloanhelp.com, it would have said that their payment would have been about $1,100 a month. Now, they already did it, so there's nothing we can do to help them. But we can help you. So be careful there. Second story, favorite one, fraternity brother of mine. So we go back a long time. It's been a long time since I was in college. So just retires from the military, 25 years of service. And now it looks like he's going to have to start paying his student loans off. But there's programs for that. rsrstudentloanhelp.com. I don't think he's going to have to pay anything because of public service for over 20 years. Just throw that out there for you. Maybe you don't know as much as you thought about student loans. I know I didn't. That's the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrstudentloanhelp.com, rsrstudentloanhelp.com. Continue our conversation. Sarah Perkins is with us. Blue Water Credit. They are the experts. They are the go-to company. When I have questions, guess who I call? And I've been doing this for a long time. I've looked at, I don't know, hundreds, maybe thousands of credit reports in my career. They probably do that every month, but that's a whole different story. But that's where you get the great information. When you hear us talk about creditsanitizer.com, that's going in there and pushing you right over to our friends over at Blue Water Credit because they are the experts. So I guess we should start off. Got a couple of tricks, tips, something like that for us, Sarah?
Yeah. So one thing that I've been talking about lately is I'll hear people say, well, I pay my credit cards off each month. I have to use it for work, but I pay it off down to zero balance. Why is my utilization staying high? So a little trick is paying them early. If you take a look at your credit card statement and the date that it comes out, that is typically the balance and the day that they're going to report those balances to the credit bureau. So if you're paying it after that date, unfortunately, the balance that's showing on your credit report is going to be the balance before you paid it off. So go on there maybe a week early after looking at when that statement date is due and paying them early so the utilization actually reflects something under 10%.
You know something? You said that in like 2 minutes, and it took me 8 to go through it on rsrccpayment.com. I learned it from Blue Water Credit, but go to rsrccpayment.com. Now, the other one that I talk about in that video there at rsrccpayment.com is the idea. You mentioned this a little earlier, Sarah. You made a comment about keeping things using, not having dead credit cards or having credit going. I made a comment in there that, I've got a phone bill. I've got several phone bills, but I have a Verizon bill, and I know roughly what it's going to be every month. So I have that being charged to one of my credit cards. And like 2 days later, I have a payment going from my bank account to the credit card company. And my assumption is that's going to keep that card active and a low utilization. Am I making an ass out of myself, or am I accurate with that assumption?
No, you're very accurate. That's something I'll often tell clients as well that are scared to use their credit cards, but know that they need to. Put something like your Netflix or your cell phone bill or something that's a reoccurring charge onto a credit card. So you are keeping activity on there, because unfortunately, if there's zero activity for 6 months or longer, you can actually end up losing your credit score altogether. And they can also close your account, which you don't want, because we know that average length of time that you have your credit cards open is also another factor in your score. So as older accounts get closed, that's going to really diminish the length of time that you have open credit.
I never thought of Netflix. I've always talked about credit cards and utilities, but I guess Netflix is almost like a utility anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Top mistakes that you see.
Going along the lines of, you said, making an automatic payment coming out of your bank account to pay for, whatever the bill is, and not checking that auto pay. Some people will set it for a certain dollar amount, thinking that they're paying the minimum due or maybe just over the minimum due. And then they go and charge something extra on there. And then also all of a sudden the minimum due is something larger than the amount you already have set up. And it could be a difference of $1. You're paying $1 less than the minimum due. And next thing you know, you have a 30-day late. Or you have a credit card that you don't use, but it gets hit with that annual fee and you don't have it set up on auto pay and you're not checking the statements. We see that happen so many times where, that $69, annual fee hits their card. They're not opening the statements because they're like, I'm not using the card. It's not set up on auto pay. And next thing you know, you're in collections for a $69 bill.
So in the video that I did, or the segment that I did on that we cut out for the rsrccpayment.com, I put in there, set the minimum payment as an auto pay, $50, $100, $200, whatever your number is, and go in and make the payment like you said, you taught us earlier about right before the statement closing date. So you end up making 2 payments a month. Does that cause a problem or is that a benefit?
No, that's definitely going to be a benefit. So, and maybe it's easier to break up the payments twice a month. You just want to make sure you're getting that minimum amount that is due by the due date.
Good information. So who's going to be a good candidate for going into a credit restoration system?
So we, again, are dealing with derogatory items. So we are working with clients that have late payments, collection accounts, charge-off accounts, even something like a bankruptcy on their credit report. So basically anything that's negatively reporting on their credit, those are the items that we're going to work on with somebody in our program.
Now, when you talk about collections, a lot of times you hear, well, it's an old collection, 2, 3, 4 years old. Should I pay that, or is there something you can do to negotiate that, or is there a right way, wrong way to deal with something like that?
So we have to look at the overall picture. We have to look at, again, how old is that collections? A lot of companies out there will say, don't pay it, we'll dispute it and have it removed. But it's under the statute of limitations. So in California, a creditor has 4 years to sue you. And so just because something is removed from your credit report does not mean that you are not financially obligated to pay that debt. And so we'll see clients that all of a sudden are getting served with court paperwork. So that's one thing to consider. We know that we can possibly negotiate a debt down and get a deletion. That's my specialty. I've been doing it for 20 years. So I really have a good idea of who will settle for what and who will give a deletion along with that settlement. Where if you go and try to do it yourself and it's paid already, it makes it a little bit harder for us to get that account off. But we do have about a 40 to 50% deletion rate with items such as collections.
That's some good information right there, because one of the things you commented on is having that experience. So if I call, and I never call a bureau and want to try and negotiate these things, they're going to say, we don't do it. It's impossible. Whereas someone like yourself, who's been doing it, I can't believe 20 years, you must have started at 2, Sarah. I don't know. But doing this for 20 years, they're not going to pull the wool over your eyes so easily.
Yeah, I come with the experience. I actually worked in the collection world first. So I know all the different tactics out there that they use. I know the lingo that they try to, talk and scare people into paying things. And sometimes you'll be put into paying for something that you shouldn't pay. And then all of a sudden you're restarting that clock and having something report longer on your credit. So again, we're going to look at the overall picture. We're going to let you know what to pay. We're not in the business of having you spend all your money and settle, everything on there. We're going to work with you with what's best for your situation and what your goals are.
Beautiful information. We appreciate you sharing with us. Appreciate you coming on. If you want to meet Sarah or her team, Give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Be more than happy to put you in touch with our friends at Blue Water Credit. They've been a partner with us at Ron Siegel Radio for a lot of years, and we wouldn't have that partnership if it wasn't successful and honorable and a great resource for our listeners. So make sure you take advantage of this relationship and go over there and check with them. Again, you go to creditsanitizer.com. It's going to put you right over to them as well if you don't remember Blue Water Credit. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.